Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. Those things we did not get to during the course of the show today, which once again we are in our compassion event, which if you wanted to be a part of, it's very simple. Just go to wayfm.com and you could look at the faces of these little kids. Like there's somebody left a computer screen up here and there's this kid named Jared. Betty Rock, walk around the corner. Oh, wait, you have your headphones on. Let me see if I can turn it around for you. This kid, tell me that kid doesn't look like a young Pastor Chad. It does, like, so much.
He's cute.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when Pastor Chad shaves.
Yeah, it does. And like, oh my gosh, that could be Pastor Chad's kid. And so again, like you can change the life of these kids and it's so easy to do for just a few bucks a month. You get to invest in them and actually speak life into these kids. And I'm telling you, I know you can make a lot of arguments about, well, we got kids here that are in trouble, and that's true. And this isn't an or situation. It could be an and. You know, if you want to volunteer and do things for kids here, great. And you can help out a kid there that needs your help. And so we'd love to have you get involved with us as a potty. Just thank you for listening to the show and being a part of it. Just go to wayfm.com if you chose to, or text CHILD to 91979, and we'll send you a link that should have a featured child up there as well that you could sponsor. So let's dive right in here. I came across this thing that's near and dear to Betty's and my heart, the tipping thing. Like, we both get riled up about it, and we're from two different generations.
Yeah, I would say, though, that I get riled up when service hasn't even been done yet and you're expecting a tip, or when tipping is asked of you when you don't do anything.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's gotten nuts, the things that are being expected. Like, companies now just go, well, we want you to take care of our employees instead of us doing it. And then you think, well, if we're gonna pay our employees more and give them a better life, then you don't have to tip. But then they won't do that. Mm-hmm. You know, they're like, everything's so expensive, so they don't change anything, and they just expect you to offset the cost. Like, if you were gonna tip, but they were gonna give you better service or lower prices. Mm-hmm. But they don't do. Mm-hmm. So people definitely have hit tipping fatigue. Like 59% of Americans say that they have a negative view on tipping. And I get that. I have a more negative view on tipping. I will go places. This is my strategy. I will pay cash at places so I don't have to deal with that screen being flipped around. It's the best way to get over that screen. And then you can see when they're like, oh, okay, and your total is $42.20. And you're like, okay, great. And you pull out your wallet to give them cash. You're like, oh.
Well, and I will say this too, like, I've gotten more bold when it comes to saying no tip.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and
strong, independent woman.
Yet, despite doing that, I haven't gotten any negative reactions.
Okay.
So I don't know if they care, if they're even watching or what. But I know that sometimes it comes down to guilt. Like, we just don't want to be shamed for not giving a tip. But honestly, to me, it's common sense. You don't ask for a tip when you haven't even done anything. Right. And I go back to, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, you go to Chick-fil-A and you eat inside, those employees are going to come and ask you, hey, can I give you a refill? Can I take your trash for you? Okay, they never ask for
That's a place tip. You would tip.
Yes, gladly.
Yeah.
And so then when I go to some chicken place down the street and I'm going through the drive-thru, or I'm standing there and some kid gets my order wrong but flips an iPad over and asks for 25% tip, no.
Can you see the smile on my face from where you're sitting, Gavin? Like, the tone in her voice was getting ratcheted up, and I wasn't even trying to. I'm like, oh, she's on a rant, and I love it.
I'm over it.
That was fast.
And I think it is silly because it's not always the person who's flipping around the screen.
Right.
That's the one who's saying, like, I want this tip. Right. You better tip me. Right. It's the company decided to place that as a system, and they have to turn that around.
I go back to, when did I become the manager
of
a restaurant?
Yeah. I know.
I never signed up for this.
Theoretically, that person could just click no tip on that screen and scroll right through it. Yeah. Like, I was at Shake Shack the other day, and I went to the kiosk. I did all that work, and then they will bring it out to you, and then you have to throw it away. And so it says tip, and I always look around to see if anyone's looking, and I hit no tip. But then I was like, does it say that on the receipt? You know, like, do they know that I didn't tip? And so now I'm going to get worse service or something. So, but anyway, all of that to say is that they broke this down by generations, and boomers are actually, Betty should have been a boomer on this subject. Boomers get the most riled up about tipping, and so welcome to the boomer generation, even though I'm not a boomer. But the interesting thing is is that while they get the most riled up about it, they still are the best tippers. The younger generation is not the best at tipping, and they actually also are more likely to reduce their tip on bad service.
Well, I think that in general, I feel like older generations are more generous than the ones that are coming up. I feel like we're very individualistic, and I think that extends well into our finances.
I have also noticed that when I go out to eat with my parents, it's now become a conversation that's always had at the table once we get the bill and my dad's signing and all that, and it'll be my mom and my dad, and they'll say, she was pretty good, or
they discuss it. They discuss
it, and then if one of them is like, that was terrible, they don't tip that great. No, they might give $1. Maybe $2.
I hate that I still, even on bad service, tip decently. Like I tip great for good service. Like I will always tip above and beyond, and I will even tip good for bad service, which I get frustrated with myself.
You're enhancing their bad behavior.
Because I look at it and I go, well, maybe this person's just having a bad day, and like I can turn that.
Or maybe
day
they
around.
stink.
Yeah, maybe they should be doing something else for a living. Absolutely right. I got to be as jaded as you guys. I really do. I'm trying. I am trying my best.
You can't get mad about tipping. I don't want to hear you complain or whine about it because you haven't made any difference.
I am trying my best to be as jaded and as heartless as the two of you.
Please.
I can't get there naturally, but I'll get there eventually. Sure. So I do understand the value of service, and I mean I've tipped really great lately too for stuff. But when somebody gives you mediocre service, like my wife and we do the same thing that your mom and dad do. We don't like fully discuss it, but we'll kind of go like, oh, that was really good service, huh? And I think sometimes I'm saying it to her to let her know that when she sees the bill, there was a big tip, you know, and then I appreciated it, or, you know, and I think that's kind of why I do it too, you know, like, oh, this was good. And then when she kind of confirms that, like, okay, they're getting a hookup, you know. So what was the other thing I had? There's a mom going viral, and she's raising some eyebrows for her TikTok post. And at first I was like, oh, you're the worst. So she was posting about how she does not return grocery carts to the store, like, or to the bin. She just leaves them there, you know, and I hate that. Like
every time.
Yeah, I hate it. But then she was like, look, I'm a mom. I've got my kids in the car. I'm not going to leave my kids just to go put this grocery cart up and risk something bad happening to them, you know? And you're like, oh, I see that a little bit more, actually.
Because, how is she supposed to do it?
Right.
The kids are more important than the cart.
You've either got to walk all your kids back to the thing, which is just a circus.
And some of them can't walk.
Or,
you know?
Or leave them in the car, which is not recommended. I know my wife, when Haley was 3, we had a Blockbuster right near us. I could park right in front of Blockbuster and go in and throw something in to the drop-off box. And I was telling her I did that one day, and she was aghast that I would leave the car running with Haley in it and not lock it and just walk to where I could still see the car. I mean, I'm 8 feet away, 10 feet away, and she could not fathom that I did that.
I think a lot of things feed into this, and it's because we have 24/7 news channels that tell you about every little bad thing that's happening in the world, as well as, and I'm one to support them, crime podcasts and shows. Yeah. They're everywhere. And 2, I saw this video of this woman that was saying this. Another factor that she was talking about was safety. So if she's at a place where she doesn't feel safe, she was telling women, it is justifiable to leave your cart where it is.
Was this the lady that you saw, the same lady you saw the video?
Probably.
Or is it somebody else? Okay.
I can't imagine there were 2.
Because that's what she was saying. She said, don't trust your gut or your instinct, and then it's okay.
But then I did read the comments. Did you read the comments?
A couple, yeah.
Yeah, and so there were some moms that were like, you're just being selfish. I do this all the time. I take my kids with me to return the cart, and then I walk them back with me.
Right.
So I don't know. I can see the pros and the cons, but I think it's just part of living in a broken world where I can't really speak into it because I'm not a mom, but I would see where if I didn't feel safe or if it was dark at night and I was trusting my gut, I might just leave the cart there. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife was reading something on Facebook about the Walmart where we live, and she's reading the story of this lady who kept running into this guy in the store, and like wherever she would go, he was right there. And she would turn down a different thing and would go over here, and he was there, and she's checking out and he's there right there. And at one point I think he actually talked to her and she basically was like, just stop, and then everywhere she went he was there. And there was a part of me too that was like, at some point, if you're that freaked out, like, why do you not go to a manager and go, hey, this dude is following me. Like, something's not right with him. Like, make a scene. But then I guess we all don't want to make a scene. Because then she said she went to the parking lot and that guy was in a car that was following her up and down the aisles.
They do make it optional for women. Some women just don't know. But typically when you go to a store and you do feel like someone's following you, you can ask for a security guard and they will walk you to your car.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. You haven't done that though, right?
No.
Because you're like, how am I going to meet a man? Yeah, so he's a little broken. Yeah, he's a stalker, but whatever. It's our love story.
Wow. But I mean, and I talked about Dateline earlier, but that's exactly what I'm going to refer to, because I did watch or listen to a podcast about Dateline where they told about a girl that she went to a Target to get her boyfriend a birthday gift, and she was supposed to be back within 10 minutes. And they had shown on the security footage that this man had followed her all through the store. And he even at one point told her she had nice legs.
Yeah, like you gotta, that's a guy you gotta avoid.
But these women don't want to
make
cause
a scene,
or they don't want to make things awkward.
Yeah.
And at
or
some
worse.
Point, but at some point you got to do something, because he did follow her to the parking lot. And
that's so horrible. Yeah, again, you guys have to be head on a swivel and protect yourselves, which I think is horrible. Like, I hate the fact that that's the world you live in, the world my wife lives in, my daughter lives in.
There was a TikTok video I saw of this guy. He was hiking and he said, hey, typically I do funny stuff, but this one is more a little bit serious. I just want to ask all my female viewers, I'm out hiking and constantly I'm coming across women that are by themselves.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm putting them on edge. Mm-hmm. So tell me in the comments what it is that we as men can do to make you feel more comfortable.
I love this because I feel this too. Like, I feel like I won't make eye contact with women or something like that. Or if I felt like there was in the store one time, I just happened to be going to the same aisles this lady was going to, and I thought, I'm freaking her out probably. And so I went to a whole other side of the store that I didn't need to go to. And then I'm thinking, man, am I like, do I have some weird, like, creepy thing in my head, but like behind, like why am I why should I have to do that? But then to make her feel at ease, it was like probably the right thing to do. Yeah. So what did they say?
Well, a lot of women in the comments were saying, you are the reason we need more men like you. Thank you for even asking.
Right.
And so, especially, a lot of women said, do not ask us, oh, you're hiking out here by yourself? Or,
yeah.
Or, oh, where are your friends at?
How far is your car away?
Yeah, or where are you hiking to?
Yeah. Are you alone?
They said that we realize you might feel awkward and feel like you need to make conversation, but really don't.
Yeah.
Because it gives the creepy vibe. Pretty much it just came to a smile and a nod.
Yeah, is it already, hey, how you doing?
Walking.
Yeah, and just keep going.
But there was one woman that in the comments, she said that she was walking home late from a birthday party, and it was nighttime, and there was a guy that just happened to be behind her on the sidewalk, and he was walking down every street she was going to.
Yeah.
And so she started picking up her pace, and she said he must have picked up on that, because all of a sudden he says, hey, I realize that you're probably scared of me because it looks like I'm following you.
Right.
I'm actually not, and I'm sorry, but if you're okay with just stepping to the side, I will walk past you.
Oh, yeah.
I'll walk in front of you.
Yeah.
And so that's what she did. She like walked over to the side of the sidewalk and then let him pass her. But once again, that's taking a chance too, because you just don't know.
I know, because now you're close to him. Yeah, right. I stopped to help a woman years ago on the side of the road. And I got out of my car and I stood by my car and I said, hey, do you need help? I said, if you don't, that's totally cool. But if you do, I can help you. But like, if you're like, I don't want to wig you out either. And then I'm like, then it's probably dumb because you're like, I'm a dad, and you start making
justifying
all these excuses.
Your non-creepiness.
Right? Yeah. And then you probably get more creepy.
Yeah.
So
do you want my social security card?
I'm like, yeah. And I said, I wouldn't want my wife out here stranded, And so, but if you don't want help, let me know and I will go away. And she's like, no, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I helped her change her tire.
Yeah.
But then I said, look, if you want, I'll change your tire and you can stand over there. Like I got this. It's not not a problem. I just don't want
maybe over communication is the key.
Yeah.
I don't know. This guy that I was watching the video of, he did say that he saw some kind of statistics that said women camping, or not camping, but hiking alone, said I think 50% of them, or maybe even more, preferred coming up against a bear than they would a man that was by himself.
How sad is that?
That says a lot.
Yeah, that's really, really sad because the bear, they figure,
I got bear spray, and that could maybe stop him. But with guys, I don't know.
And with bears, you think, okay, there's a chance it's not going to eat me. It's probably going to go the other way. But guys, you're like, oh, this could be the worst thing of my life. I'd rather be eaten by a bear. You know.
I don't know. I mean, you hear if you're like me, a woman that listens to crime or watches crime, you can recall countless stories of women that have gone hiking by themselves and then something happened. I don't know if the best thing to do is just make a scene by screaming.
Yeah,
like
that's what they say.
How are you? And you just go, ah!
Yeah, I mean, they say to make a lot of noise.
And he might be freaked out and thinking, I was just going to say hi.
I know.
But at some point, you got to be like, I need to get it to pin because I made an accident. Make things really awkward. I don't know.
Yeah, it's sad that that's the way it is. But I would tell my daughter, be careful, be overly cautious. Don't worry about offending anybody. I'd rather you offend some random stranger than end up on Dateline, you know. So, oh wow, no, we're going to your story. No, we're going to your story, not birthdays. So that's good.
So July 4th is just around the corner, and boy. I didn't know this, but it does make sense. That is the #1 day where most pets run away from home, and it's due to the fireworks.
They freak out.
Makes them nervous.
That makes sense.
Does that happen to your dog?
I mean, Gavin.
Yeah. I love fireworks. Yeah,
but he needs a thunder jacket.
They don't love thunder jacket. Depends. I've got it all. They don't like the noise, but I feel like in Nashville at least, we don't live too close to neighborhoods where people are setting off a bunch of fireworks. Otherwise, I can see that being bad for.
Yeah, I've been in apartment complexes where neighbors thought it was a good idea to throw fireworks into a dumpster.
Oh yeah,
and they light them, and it's so loud. It's horrible.
No.
But anyways, so if this is a concern of yours, you have a pet, you may be interested in Fido Alert. This is a pet version of Amber Alert for children.
When you first told me this, I thought it was something that they were going to be posting on the things on the street signs, like over highways. Yeah. I'm like, okay, Fido this is a little much. Yeah. Ralph was last seen licking himself at the party at the big fireworks show.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that though. So here's what it is. It's a service. It's called Fido Alert. And it's free to some degree. So when you go to FidoAlert.com, they send you a free ID tag. And on that tag, it has the name of the pet on it with a QR code. So people like this because, going back to crime, you don't want your personal information out there. So on this tag, the QR code, once your pet is found, the person that finds them can scan the QR code with their phone, and that is going to send you an email or a text saying, hey, your cat, your dog has been found, and this is where you can go and pick them up at. So if you want to check that out, that's FidoAlert.com. Like I said, it is free, but so they collect money by collecting data about you and your pet. But if you're not concerned about that, then
sure.
go.
Why should we be? Like, I could see, like, the app, the thing, it's like, hey, you get the notification, just found your dog. I'm going to need you to flip the screen and answer a couple questions, and you get a tip. The person who found your dog,
honestly,
there's a tip screen.
If you fed him some hot dogs or chips or something, yeah, sure, I'll give you a tip. You treated him well.
I think
something tells me, though, that if Gavin were in this situation where only one dog could get the
Fido
ID,
Alert,
the ID, that Ellie would get it. Jasper, he'd be like, you're on your own.
That's tough because Ellie,
find a new family.
Ellie wouldn't need it because she's so good. She wouldn't, like, he would get out, I think, and it would be a bummer.
Boy,
but we'd get it. Yeah, for sure.
But time
for sure.
heals wounds.
Sure.
Sasha, yesterday, I got a look from my wife.
You haven't been loving your cat as much lately.
I got a look from my wife when I went, oh my gosh, if you don't stop meowing, you're getting the needle.
That's a horrible thing
I know.
to say.
I don't know what is up with her. Just will not stop meowing. I got a little better last night. I got to sleep till almost my alarm, But she just, and the second you start petting her, she's fine. Like, I don't know if she has anxiety. Like, that'd be my luck. I got a cat with anxiety. But like,
I think she's bored.
I don't know. I don't know what her deal is.
She likes to play string.
Yeah, but
maybe you don't play with her enough.
I don't know. I try.
Why don't you get new toys? Do you get her toys every now and then?
No, I mean, she typically, this is new. Like, she's been like super lazy and sleepy and stuff, which has been nice. But like, I'm like, I know they say, well, it could be a thyroid issue. It could be senility. It could be she's in pain. She acts normal. She jumps up on the bed. So she's still going to the bathroom. Like, she's still normal. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what it is. But I told Marty, I said, and at one time I looked at her and I go, okay, you meow again. We're going to the vet. Meow. All right. Friday it is. We're going to the vet. And so I've got a vet appointment Friday.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, she's going to hate that.
Oh, yeah. Not to give her the needle, but to get her checked out.
Yeah. I'm not gonna euthanize her.
Just to get her checked out.
Unless it's an option.
Oh my word! I've started this thing where I don't know why. I guess I just like to spoil my boys, but I give them wet food at the end of the day, right before we go to bed, and they get so excited about it. But Rayford will be like trying to see what I'm doing, and he's meow, meow, meow.
Yeah.
And then
that's what Sasha does. Literally all day.
And then Buford is over there doing the same thing. So I've got two of them just meow, meow, meow,
yeah.
meow, meow. And so as I'm getting it ready, because I've told them before, you have to be patient. You have to be patient because I got to get it together. But now I've just started doing this thing where when they're meowing at me, I'll be like, "You're just skin and bones," and then I sing "In the Arms of the Angels" by Sarah McLachlan. And what's great is as they're meowing, it sounds like they're singing with me.
That's
so I'll be like,
funny.
In the arms of the angel, meow, fly away.
That's
meow.
so funny. Yeah, I'm gonna take Sasha in. And
hopefully come out with her.
Hopefully she's fine. Like I hope it's just something else, and maybe they can give her some medicine that'll just like chill her the heck out because something has to happen.
Wow.
Well, it's a lot. I mean, I'm telling you.
Well, it's tough in the mornings.
I gotta sleep because I gotta get up so early. And then I thought of Gavin. I thought, oh, what he's in for with baby crying. Whoo, do not hold your child if you're upset. Like, I mean, I'm being serious, man. There is a switch that will snap in you when a kid is inconsolable, at least in me, and I would literally have to put my daughter on the couch and walk away. Like sometimes I'd put her outside and walk away with a sign. Please take this.
I will tell you this, Gavin, and I can demonstrate for you with a baby doll or with you sometime. Well, I know I'll let Wally demonstrate with you. So there's this thing where, and I've seen it on TikTok, where with babies they can get a little gassy.
Yeah, same.
And so when you lay them, sometimes when they're inconsolable, they just have gas.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thing for Sasha.
I don't know.
Just push on her tummy.
So
I'm gonna find out.
What you need to do is you lay the baby on its back and you take its legs and you just fold them in like to their chest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you just push on. Do you get where I'm?
Yeah.
So kind of like a turtle, like you're taking their feet and you're bending their knees and pushing them towards the chest as they're laying on their back. And there's something about that will release any kind of gas bubbles that they have, and it helps so much.
I'll try that myself.
And what if there's more than gas?
Yeah,
well, then you're in for a treat.
Do they have the type? Okay.
But it could be helpful.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea. Good thing to remember. Because they can't communicate that. They can't tell me anything.
Yeah. And then if you're feeling a little irritable, maybe you can ask your wife to do the same for you.
Put me on my back and push my
push your knees into your chest.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
the things you're headed for. I've forgotten, and I'm gonna have to remember and have compassion because it's so far in my rearview mirror.
Yeah, I know.
But because like when you think back, because women always do this, they think back to their childbirth, like, oh, it was great, it was magical,
Beautiful.
And at the time they want to murder something, but then they think back on just the good. And I'm the same way. Like I think back to most of the times with Haley, and I'm like, that wasn't that big of a deal. It really wasn't that hard. But I guarantee you, in the moment, I'm like, this is the worst ever.
I think
it's hard.
There will be days when I'm coming in with 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and it's just you just have to power through, and that's a part of life, and that's totally okay. But it won't make it more fun.
We'll have to accept those days for you, like we accept Betty's few days of.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Yep.
She got me yesterday. Crankied me.
But also, you're a lot.
I am a lot. That's fair. I will give you that.
Yeah.
And also, too, you have to tolerate my days of crankiness, too. So, all right, I think that's going to... No, birthdays.
Yep.
Celebrate.
I need to look and see because I haven't done my job with looking to see if we have anyone.
You've been real busy with compassion, and we've all been busy with
doing the
compassion,
Lord's work.
So, yeah.
It looks like we don't have any for today.
That makes it easy.
I have to take a picture of this kid, though.
Is it still Jared?
It's still up here. It's still Jared. I have to show this to Pastor Chad. I'm telling you, this looks
guys.
This looks like Pastor Chad.
This is it.
All right. Thanks for being a potty. Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.